10 years had passed since we stood hand in hand and promised forever. A decade of shared breaths and bedtime stories, of quiet routines and ordinary days stitched together by what I believed was love, real love. Our home echoed with laughter. Our 2 children filled the rooms with joy. From the outside, our life looked picture perfect, stable, warm, unshakably whole. I genuinely thought we were safe inside that illusion. But then came that night. It's one quiet evening, no different from 100 others. We sat down for dinner. The clink of silverware, the soft hum of conversation, and then she said it. No warning. No build-up. Just a sentence delivered in a tone so flat it made the air go still. She said she had been unfaithful since the beginning at first. I thought she was being cruel, making some twisted attempt at humor. I laughed, hesitant, waiting for her to smile and take it back. But her face didn't move. Her eyes didn't flinch. She looked at me like she was reading off a grocery list. Cold, blank, unforgiving. She said she never truly saw me as her one true partner, that she'd been with others, many others, on and off. Throughout our entire marriage, my pulse thundered in my ears. My chest felt like it was caving in, breath by breath. The world tilted slightly, the way it does right before a fall. That night, I didn't sleep. I just lay there in the dark, staring at the ceiling, the weight of her words echoing through every memory, every vacation, every quiet morning making. Pancakes? Every whispered I love you? Had it all been a lie? A long, beautifully decorated illusion? But the ache didn't stop there. The next morning I looked at our children, our son 8 years old, clever, kind-hearted, and our daughter. Her father's shadow, with the same eyes I see in the mirror. And then, like a poison blooming in my bloodstream, a thought surfaced that made me physically sick. What if they weren't mine? I had never questioned it before, never even imagined such a betrayal. But now I had to know. Without telling. Her I arranged for DNA tests. Quietly, carefully, I collected the samples and sent them in. Each day dragging like a lifetime while I waited for the results. I played the role of husband and father, kept up the routines, smiled through the storm inside me. But inside I was unraveling, fear, fury, heartbreak, crashing together inside a body trying not to break. 7 days later, the email came. My hand shook as I opened it. I didn't breathe. The truth landed like a blade. Our daughter was mine. Our son was not. I stared at the words on the screen, and it felt like the ground had been ripped out from under me. I loved him. I had raised him, held him as a newborn, taught him to ride a bike, told him bedtime stories until he drifted off against my shoulder. Now what? That connection, so sacred and cherished, had been stolen from me without my consent. She took something I never even knew I needed to protect, but I didn't lash out. Not then. I needed her to feel what I had felt, not through shouting, not through violence, but through clarity. Through exposure, I began planning. Over the next few days, I made arrangements. I reached out to our families, invited them to dinner, hinting at exciting news I wanted to share. I invited a few close friends too. No one suspected anything. Everyone was thrilled. The atmosphere buzzed with curiosity and warmth. On the night of the gathering, the table was set beautifully. Wine glasses gleamed under the light. Rippled through the house. My wife moved through the room with practiced grace, her charm on full display. She had no idea what was coming. When the plates had been cleared and the hum of conversation settled, I stood and tapped my glass. The room quieted, all eyes turning to me. Smiling politely, I thanked everyone for coming. And then I turned to her. "Do you remember what you told me recently?" I asked, voice steady. "That you've been unfaithful since our wedding day?" Her expression froze. Her hand stilled on the edge of her plate. The warmth in the room drained away in an instant. Placed the envelope on the table. "These are the DNA results." Gasps broke across the room like a wave. I looked her straight in the eyes. "Only one of our children is biologically mine." She opened her mouth, but I raised a hand firm and final. "No, this is the world you've built. These are the truths you planted. And now everyone here knows what I've been forced to carry." Her parents stared at her in disbelief, their faces crumpling with shame and confusion. My own family sat in silence, heartbreak written. Across their faces, our son looked around, puzzled, not old enough to grasp the weight of what had just been said, and then came the final blow. I've already spoken to a lawyer. Divorce papers are being filed. You can keep the house. I want nothing but joint custody of our daughter, ... and freedom. Her composure collapsed. Tears spilled freely as she begged me to talk, pleaded for a private moment, for mercy, said she still loved me, swore that none of it ever meant to happen like this, but I had heard enough. The next morning I packed my things and walked away. The story spread like wildfire. Friends who once envied our picture-perfect life now whispered behind cupped hands. She, once adored and admired, now stood in the wreckage of her own making. Her image shattered. I didn't do it to punish her. I did it for the truth, for closure, for the man I used to be before the lies began to wear me down. In time, I rebuilt. Brick by brick, piece by piece. I stayed present for my daughter, never missing a moment that mattered. And even for my son, despite the truth, I remained in his life. He still called me Dad, and I never let that change. Biology doesn't erase love when it's real. She tried again and again to make her way back to me. Letters, calls, apologies, but I never answered. She made her choices. I made mine. The truth destroyed the illusion, yes. But it also gave me back my life, my dignity. Because revenge doesn't have to be loud. Sometimes the quietest truth carries the most thunder.